Yeah, so we are right within our Jupyter Notebook. So in Jupyter Notebook, just straight to it, we have what we call a cell, and the cell is a section where we enter all our instruction. That is a Python code. Just to let you be aware, there are two modes whenever we are in Jupyter Notebook. There is the command mode, and then there is the code mode. So the code mode is when we are within the cell and the cursor is blinking. Now we can always identify this by observing the green highlight that is around the rectangle, that is the cell. Now to switch to the command mode, you just have to bring your mouse cursor to the left section of it, the left side, and then click in here. And the moment you do that, you realize that it changes, the green changes into blue. So whenever you see the blue color, it depends, but mostly when the color changes, it means that we are in the command mode. So command mode, code mode, command mode. Now, without using the mouse, you can use the keyboard. So when I press escape, we move to the command mode. When I press enter, we are in the code mode. Good. So the reason for this is that depending on the mode that we are in, we will be able to do things differently. So let me just type in anything here and say name is equal to name. To run the cell, you can either click in here, but the easiest way is to just press shift and then enter. So what it does is that it's run the cell and it's created another cell. Anytime you run a cell, it runs the cell and it creates another cell, because it knows that definitely you would have to input another code in there. So that is that. So quickly, let's go ahead and then switch from the code mode to the command mode. So I'll press escape. We are now in the command mode. So in this instant, okay, let's go to the top one. So within the command mode, I'm going to press A for Apple. And what A is going to do, that A is going to create a cell above the current cell that I've selected. So when I press A on the keyboard, we have a new cell above it. Let me just make this obvious. Let me type something in here. Now I'm going to select the same cell again, and I'm going to create another cell below it. So to do that, A is for above it, B is for below it. So I'll press B on my keyboard, and then I'll get a cell below it. So that is how we can achieve these. Now another thing we can do in the command mode is that we can copy a cell and then paste. So let me come to the same cell again. So while still in the command mode, I'll press C for copy. So I'll just press C and it is copied. When I come to select this very last one, and I press V for vehicle. So V will paste that for me. So we realize that we have a duplicate of the cell right below the session. Okay, one other thing we can also do is that we can cut a cell. So let's say I don't want this particular cell to be above here. I would want it to come after this one, after the last one. I'll just come and click in, still in the command mode. Then I'm going to press X for xylophone. So X, then select the last cell. Then I'm going to do V for vehicle for paste. So V, and I now have it. It's now been moved from above that to beneath it. Let us also look at how we can delete a cell. So to delete a cell, I'm going to delete this particular cell. Remember, you must still be in the command mode. So within the command mode, I'm just going to press D for delete. So D twice in succession. So I press D, and that is gone. If I decide to delete this one, I use the same in the command mode, D, and that is gone. To undo, to reverse the action, I can, whilst in the command mode, I can just press Z for zebra. So Z, just as in Windows, command Control Z. So the same thing, Z. So I press Z, and the last action is undone. So that is that. Let's look at how we can merge cells. So let's assume that we have some code here. Let's say age, so we have age equal 34, and then we have, let's say, height equal 6.5. But now we realize that, oh no, we shouldn't have typed these all of these in different cells. We would want everything in the same cell. All we have to do is come to, let's be in the command mode, select the very first one, then you can hold shift, and then press, either just jump to the last one or you can select individually. So now when you have all the cells that you want to merge selected, then you go ahead and you press shift and then M for merge. So shift M, and we now have all the 4 cells merged into one cell. So the last, I'm going to create another cell above that, still in the command mode. So escape command mode A to create a cell above it. And now when we observe this section, we realize that it says code. So this cell by default would accept code. Anything we type in there is going to be code. So if I type anything that does not make sense, code is supposed to be instructions. So if I type anything that does not make sense and I run, that is run, shift enter, it's going to complain. So Python is going to complain that I don't understand this command. I'm just going to quickly delete that, D, then I'm going to create a cell above it, A. Now above it, this time around, I'm going to type something else, but I'm going to switch from the code mode to what we call markdown. So while I am in the command mode, when I press M, the moment I press M, this cell now turns from code into markdown. We can observe that here. So what markdown means is that we can now add tests. So this is what has made Jupyter Notebook the most popular environment within the data analytics, data science world. It allows you to add feedback, to add descriptions to whatever that you are doing, so that anybody, at the end of it, you can actually print it. You can save this as a document and print it out, and anybody who picks it can go ahead and then get all the descriptions of what you were doing. So let's say you divide your entire analysis into about 6 sections. After every section, you go ahead and then you explain into details what you are doing in the next section. So that is what it is. So let's just do something later. So I'll just do hash the pound, and then I'll say header 1. Let's just observe what happens. I'm just going to do it twice now, and I'm going to say header 2, and I'm going to do it 3 times now, and I'm going to say header 3. Now I realize that the font size keeps decreasing. So the header 1 is normally we use that for our biggest, like our major headings, then subheading, then maybe another subheading. Let me just go ahead and then add something else. So let's say this is Python with without being good. And I can just go ahead and then let's run and see what happens. Go ahead and say shift enter, and you realize that these writings are now saved as tests. They don't behave as codes. They are not within cells any longer. So let me just clarify that. Let me just prove that by creating another cell, and let me just type those gibberish those things I typed earlier, that Python complaint. Now I'm going to press M in the command mode to convert this into markdown. Now I'm going to come in here and I'm going to run it, shift enter. You realize that Python did not complain this time around because it does not see it as code, it rather sees it as markdown. So that is that for now. We'll be learning much along the line while we go through the program. Thanks so much for your time. Don't remember to subscribe and then a like. Bye bye.